we've got a few bits and pieces to cover today. It's relatively fluid, lots of opportunity to ask questions as you think of them. We've also got Meg from Careers coming down to talk to you about some of the extracurricular stuff you can get involved in and ways to start boosting your CV from day dot and thinking about sort of your journey with us at Flinders and all the extras you can get out of it as well. So for those of you that didn't catch it on the way in, my name's Olivia. I am your interim course coordinator for the Bachelor of Human Nutrition. So I've actually just stepped up to a new role. So I'm now teaching program director for a few of the programs here in the college. So we will be recruiting a new course coordinator who we will announce to you once we know who the successful candidate is. It's very likely to be someone from our nutrition teaching team and someone that you'll probably come into contact with across your first year. So they won't be too foreign to you as nutrition students. And in the interim, please feel free to email me with any questions and I will be your first point of call along with Jane. So Jane Barber is going to present this morning as well. Jane's our student experience coordinator, so she'll talk to you a little bit about what that role means, and you'll likely have some contact with her across your first year as well. So today I've got a mixture of slides from the university that they've given us to help support your journey through orientation. If I could just get it to move, there we go. And then we'll also talk about the human nutrition program more specifically. So just as we get started, as is the policy here at Flinders University, we'd just like to acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the lands on which our campuses are located. There are the traditional lands of the Arrernte, Duggaman, First Nations of the Southeast, First Peoples of the River Murray and Mallee region, Jawoyn, Kaurna, Larrakia. All this is really testing my language this morning. And many other groups who are present on the land. We'd just like to honour their elders past, present and emerging, and I won't offend those groups in trying to pronounce those names inappropriately, so I'd rather acknowledge them on the slide than attempt to say them poorly. So we've got a little welcome here, I think, if it's going to work. No, it's not going to work. Okay. Just check it's not embedded anywhere else. No, doesn't look like the video is embedded there. But you will likely see it in other sessions that you come to. We do have a welcome, and I believe that will be up on our website as well. Okay, so just on behalf of the team that are organising Orientation Week, so obviously that's this week, you'll hopefully have noticed that there's a few activities, probably not so much here as what's going on at the main campus. Have all of you had a chance to get up to main campus yet? No, I think there's free food up there, so it's always worth checking out. I think it's where a lot of the stalls are for the clubs and societies. We will have some reps from 2 clubs and societies that you might be interested in getting involved in come today to talk to you about what they do. One of them is now being headed up by a Bachelor of Human Nutrition student who has just gone across to dietetics this year. I'm devastated. She's amazing. But I think she's already got 3 events planned for the nutrition club this semester. So she'll come along and explain some of those to you. But yeah, try and get up to the main campus if you can, because I think that's where most of the action's happening. I think there was more planned for here. I'm suspecting the heat might have put a dampener on that. But my understanding is when you come out of this session, there should be some music. There was yesterday, and some hopefully food trucks and bits and pieces down here as well to check out. And I'm sure you'll be ready for it by then. In terms of just starting to get familiar with Flinders systems and finding your way around, there's a few different ways to do that. So there's various different websites and portals. It's really good for you to start logging into systems like Flow. So Flow is what we call our learning platform, and that's where you're going to find your homepage, your topic pages, and there's also a site called Finding Your Way at Flinders, which is an online orientation topic. So you can just search for that as you go into your Flow homepage. That will just help you navigate your way through some of the systems. So I guess as with starting any new job, and uni I guess is like starting a new job for the next few years, it's just getting familiar with what systems are in place. I'm sure you're all much more tech savvy than a lot of us, so I don't think it'll take you very long at all. Just letting you know that O Week doesn't finish, on Friday. We then go into Connect Week, they've called it. So there'll be more activities just helping you get to know your fellow colleagues. There's a quiz night, comedy show. There's going to be more activities, again, probably mostly based up at the hub where they've got the open spaces and the breakaway rooms. And I believe there's some online sort of ways of getting to know your classmates too. Something that we've heard a reasonable amount from the human nutrition and the dietetic students is sometimes they feel a bit disconnected in the first year because so much of your program has science in it in this first year, and the dietetic students will be joining you in those sessions. But they're also fed into by medical science, health science, probably a couple of other programs as well that I'm not aware of. So they're big cohorts, so you might get a bit mixed up and it might be hard to know who's in your nutrition topic straight away, because we don't have nutrition straight topics until next semester. So it's a good opportunity to use some of these events to connect and get to know some of your classmates, so that if you recognise them in a classroom, you can give them a wave and try and get in on a lab group with them. But it is a good opportunity to mix with other students that you won't see sort of throughout your studies necessarily. So making some good connections now. These are just some links to some socials. So if you follow on Instagram or Facebook, there's pages there where I think the FUSA Association, Student Association, will be posting updates on events and where to find your freebies, which I think is what students need. I remember my first week of uni, it was all about the freebies. So do enjoy O Week this week. Unify is a student connection program that has been designed for helping you meet people in interactive online sessions or in person. So that's another thing to look out for during this next couple of weeks. All right, so there is a little bit more from them as we go through, but I thought let's start and talk about what you're actually here for, which is the Bachelor of Human Nutrition. So welcome. We're going to have a look at the study program today, just make sure that everyone's enrolled into the right topics and why that's important. Jane's going to talk to you about student engagement. I'm going to have a chat to you about the Nutrition Society of Australia, Australia, that you might like to get involved with. We're going to talk about your career paths, and I've got a couple of alumni videos to show you. And then there's an opportunity to meet your peer mentors that Jane will facilitate, and that will be done with the Bachelor of Nutrition students as well, dietetic students as well. So I'm going to kick off by starting with this video, she says, hoping technology is going to work.
When you get your next big idea, say sparkly ketchup, Grammarly's tone suggestions.
So some of you might not need any persuasion to be in the nutrition program, but hopefully that inspired you a little bit to see what's about to come across your next 3 years of study for those of you that are planning on staying with us all the way through. So some of the snippets you saw in that video were things like we saw some talking to camera and like a social media sort of stream. So we've really beefed up some content there around having presence in sort of that online space, which is really growing. It's a huge boom industry for nutrition at the moment, working with exercise alongside nutrition. And also there was that question about meal plans before. You saw that person giving a meal plan, so that is something that you can do as a nutritionist. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit more as we go through about what your scope is as a nutritionist and how we get there through our study. I guess the big point of difference that people always ask about nutrition versus dietetics is what can a nutritionist do, or what can a dietitian do that a nutritionist can't? Well, basically the difference is a nutritionist is working in that prevention space, that disease prevention space. So we're really looking at working with communities and individuals that don't have significant illness already, and looking at how we prevent it. So there's a lot of money being pumped into that area in health promotion, but also at an individual level as well. It can work public or private, so there is opportunity to do private practice, and as we said, with media or food industry as well. The difference is a dietitian can then go that extra step further and will work with unwell individuals, and the only setting that sort of really differs is hospital settings. So a dietitian will typically be found in aged care or hospitals, whereas a nutritionist is more community-based. So similar, very similar opportunities work-wise in a lot of areas, with the acute care being really the point of difference between our two programs. So if at any time you are trying to remember what is coming up in your course study, we now have our website pages, which are called handbook pages. You might hear staff refer to check handbook. This is what it means. It just means when you search up the program online, this is what comes up. I just need to remind you, or just make you aware, that you can see in the top right corner there's a year, so that this one's showing the 2023 version. You just need to always make sure that it's on the right year for the year that you enrolled. We do have subtle changes every now and then to the program. So for example, people that enrolled last year would have done a different looking first year to the one you're doing this year due to some topic changes, and I'll come to those. And so as you work through the program and meet more of your colleagues, if at any point it sounds like your study programs are just subtly different, it might be because you've enrolled in different year levels and you're on just a slightly different program, and I'll explain as we go through. But not to panic, it all brings you out at the same point at the end. But just when you're looking at online sources of your program, it's just making sure that you're checking the right one for your year intake. So our course is really designed to create you as graduates to deliver quality nutrition practice. So we differ from those 6-month courses or 1-year courses you see online, because we're actually giving you a bachelor's degree, which has a huge skill set attached to it that isn't just nutrition specific. So it's all of those soft skills that industry are really looking for now, about being good communicators, whether that be written or verbal. It's about knowing how to source quality evidence-based information and appraise that and be able to use that in practice. It's about being a good at time management and workload management, and having interprofessional learning experiences that you just can't get from those 6-month online courses. So industry do recognise the value of a degree over a short course, and the quality that education that brings. So in terms of a study plan, how many of you are planning on studying full-time this year? So 8 topics across the year. Any of you are going part-time? No? I think everyone had their hands up. Yep, okay, great. So full-time study is considered to be 3 to 4 topics a semester. So if any of you get any Centrelink funding for your student support, you do need to usually maintain a full-time load. So it does mean you can drop to 3 topics a semester, but anything less than 3 is considered part-time. The lovely thing about our degree is you can study part-time. That is something that the dietetics degree doesn't facilitate at the moment, so it is a little value add for us. We have that flexibility that you can flex up and down depending on what's happening in life for you. There is a way, though, that we prefer to scaffold the topics if you're going part-time, because many of the science topics you do this year are prerequisites for the ones next year. So if you do them out of sequence, it does slow down how quickly you can move through the program. So if at any point you do decide that you need to go part-time, it's always a good time to get in touch with your course coordinator so they can help you rejig your study plan. There will be times where you're studying with other programs, as I said, so opportunity to link in with other students, and we're really looking for more and more opportunities where we can teach with other allied health professionals, because the idea is that we're a team and that we work together out in the workforce. We were having a little conversation as we started around sort of expectations for in-person teaching. So we've very much moved now, particularly in our college, and you'll just need to check each topic site for details. But we're not delivering lectures in person anymore. So this will probably be the longest lecture you hear for a little while. I'll try and jazz it up a little bit. Generally, all of our theory content will be online now, or pre-recorded, or it might be a live online sort of Q&A and a short bit of theory. That's something that's come out of COVID. We've just heard that students don't want to sit in lecture theatres, and we know as lecturers it's not the best environments sort of talking at you for 2 hours. I don't think anyone enjoys that experience. But what we will have is workshops, seminars and labs or practicals that will be face-to-face, that will usually be there to complement the assessment, or it might be where some assessment's happening. So it's important to check what the expectations are around turning up to those. But where possible, there will be flexible learning opportunities for you now. So as I alluded to, the first year of your program is going to be a little science heavy. So this is where we just say hang in there if you're not a big science fan. It is mixed up with lots of labs and pracs, which I think does bring subjects like science alive. But it can feel a little bit sort of, where's my nutrition? Have I enrolled in the wrong degree? But it's important to understand that nutritionists are bound by a strong nutrition science underpinning. That's again what differentiates us from people that get a 6-month course online. We do these nutrition science courses. What that means is that if you decide to graduate as a nutritionist, work for a little while and then go, do you know what, like I actually think I want to teach and I want to go do secondary school teaching, you actually then have the foundations to move into teaching or to apply for medicine or to apply for dietetics. So there's lots of opportunities that the degree affords you, and that science underpinning is really important for the nutrition knowledge that comes later. Second year, you start learning a lot more sort of half and half, science and nutrition, and we start building your communication professional practice skills. And then in third year, it's very applied. So it's like, let's take everything you've learned and let's apply this to how you actually work as a nutritionist now, whether that be in a public health space, a health coaching space, research, or in social media, for example. So hopefully everyone received my email just with an overview of what your study plan should hopefully be looking like for first year. So this is how it should be looking. So first semester, we're looking at Research and Study Skills 1, Molecular Basis of Life, so the bio topic, 1 of the chemistry. So generally, if you've not done any year 12 chemistry, you would choose the 1201 topic. Otherwise, there's the new chemistry 1A topic if you have done year 12 chemistry. So either or of those, and then a psychology topic. The reason those are highlighted is because this is the change that's happened this year for you guys. Last year, the students had to do 2 chemistry topics, 1 in first year, 1 in second semester, sorry. So you guys get off well in this scenario. I think there's a lot of people much more excited about doing a psychology topic rather than a second chem. So the dietitian accreditation standards have changed. We don't have to do as much chemistry for them. So for those of you that want to transition across, this still supports that transition. But it's also due to a change in the chemistry's offerings from our science and engineering colleagues. So they've sort of merged some content and tweaked a few things and really revamped the topics for this year. So that's how it might look differently to colleagues you might meet in future years. Semester 2 is where we start bringing in some nutrition content. So that's really your underlying concepts around paddock to plate. You know, where does our food come from and what does it go through to get to us in the plate? And how has sort of the world of agriculture and big food manufacturing impacted our food system, and what is its vulnerabilities? And then nutrition, physical activity and health is actually taught by Jane. That's a large online topic, really looking at sort of energy balance, the basics of nutrition, what are the food groups, what are they made up of, and how do we do energy calculations and things like that. So really starting to get you thinking about nutrition and the population. We then have an Indigenous health for health science topic and a human bioscience topic. So some of these topics can be taken in semester 1 or semester 2. We've put it in this order just because this sort of makes most sense to us, having that basic research study skills topic first and foremost. Things can be switched around where there is movement, but it is important to try and get this sequence of topics done in first year. And if you're going part-time, we would try and prioritise the science topics where possible. Okay. Year 2, so again, a little bit of chemistry here and physiology, so in first semester. We then have our second research study skills, so that's where you're starting to learn about research design, different methodologies and how to appraise literature to make sure that what you're talking about in your assignments or in your work going forward is quality evidence, so that when someone says to you, if I have that sweetener, it's going to give me cancer, you can say, well, I think the study you're talking about was one done in rats, and that was actually, not conclusive of what would happen with adults. And actually, they fed that rat a jar of sweetener a day, and that's not, replicable in humans. So it's teaching you how to respond to those queries, because when people hear you work in nutrition, they love to ask those questions. So it's really good if you know how to respond to them in a safe and evidence-based way. We then have our sort of social environmental perspectives topic. So it's got the longest title. You tend to hear us call it ICEP because we're all too lazy to say that in full, and I always get it the wrong way around as well. It's a really great topic, just looking at all the different impacts that affect what we eat. So the way you eat food each day, the choices that you make, they have 100 different reasons why you do that. It might be how you've grown up, it might be budget, it might be because you're training at the moment, but it's looking at all those other impacts, cultural, social impacts, budget, that type of thing. We then have our lifespan topic, and food products and preparation is a topic was with me, it's now with Carolyn. We actually go off-site to Sprout. Has anyone heard of Sprout? Yeah, it's our cooking school that's run by Themis and Callum. We're going to hear from them later. Callum was in MasterChef a couple of times, so he's a local celebrity. But they own a business down there. We go use their kitchen facilities to do some hands-on prac, which is really cool. And then we've got our option topics. So for those people that are looking at moving into dietetics at the end of their degree, we would encourage them here to take an extra science topic. So the dietetics course has a couple of extra science topics included in it, which we have to do as options to meet their master's requirements. And we also have a selection of others in digital health, aging, trying to think what else. And there's options to do other things like comms or business or marketing or something like that if you want to. We also recommend doing interpersonal and interprofessional communication here as well. There's an online or an in-person option, and this just starts laying the foundations of that, those skill sets around working with people, leading into a topic in third year around health coaching. So that health coaching and behaviour change topic is brand spanking new. I'm literally writing it this year. This is to recognise that industry is looking for this skill set now, and it's a skill set that nutritionists are ideally positioned to offer. So you'll probably see when you Google, there's a lot of people out there in the ether promoting themselves as a nutrition or a life coach or a health coach, but actually industries are starting to use them more as well for their wellness programs, recognizing that mental health self-care is super important for their employees, and is also becoming a core part of business in things like disability and aging. And it doesn't necessarily have to be someone like a dietitian that does that or a psychologist. Actually, people like nutritionists are well positioned for that because of our allied health training. We've also got a more meaty topic, nutrients, role and function, which Jane teaches again, which really sort of looks at, how nutrients respond in the body, and issues with sort of toxicity and that type of thing, deficiencies. We've got a third research topic, so this is going to be more project-based and actually looking at you synthesizing your literature and evidence. And then you've got room for options as well. And then we've got our public health and public communications topics. So public health about working in community public health. Public communications is around working in that online space and your communication skills. Independent studies I'm going to talk about in just a minute as well. That's our sort of placement topic, if you like. So it's a project-based topic, but it does involve linking in with industry and can mean some on-site work with that industry partner in a type of placement. So, and that's again to get you sort of work ready. So We've got a sequence of electives that we've bundled into minors. So you can choose to do these pathways in your elective spaces, and what will happen is that will then come up on your transcript at the end of your degree that you have a minor in that specialty area. If you choose to do a more mix and match, that's fine too, but what it will mean is that your transcript will just say Bachelor of Human Nutrition. It won't have any sort of specialisation on there. So we've packaged these because we've identified them as key areas that industry are looking for expertise in. They will likely grow in terms of options, but at the moment this is what we have on offer. Just coming back to independent studies, as part of that placement topic, there is an opportunity to go overseas to, I think we've got the Philippines, Vanuatu or Indonesia are the 3 locations we've got at the minute. They tend to go sort of in this non-semester, so I think around one of the semester breaks mid-year. And it's basically students will go and live with a host family in a community and work with a local department and university to deliver a health program. And I think they go for 4 weeks. Can you remember, Jane? I think it's 4 weeks overall, and then the project sort of is either side of that as well. There are also scholarships to help pay for these opportunities, and it's something that a lot of students really enjoy. And there's a few other programs from that have these opportunities and will sometimes go together. So for example, health science will sometimes go overseas as well. So just flagging that is an opportunity, and that will happen in 3rd year. We also have the opportunity through that topic to participate in our on-site or partnered placement opportunities as well. So Health to Go is sort of pretty much just underneath us, I think, out the front, has a number of our allied health courses delivering services as for real clients. So they are an allied health practice, including optometry. We have a number of interprofessional placement opportunities there. We also have some pediatric clinics there. We also have partners through Health to Go where we run things externally. So I run one called Kickstart Your Health. That's a picture just on the right there of the retirement village we've been working with. They posted to their social media. So we had OT, so occupational therapy, nutrition and exercise science students working together to deliver a 6-week program with a retirement village. So that was a placement for them. And Louisa, one of our lecturers, is also running one out in the north at the moment in a GP Plus clinic. So there's opportunities happening and emerging and evolving for different students to get involved with, but really pushing that into professional placement opportunity, which again is very good to talk about in terms of your CV once you start thinking about graduating. Has everyone already enrolled in topics? You've already navigated the system? Most of you are nodding. Yep. So I won't talk through this slide, but these will be available on Flow on the nutrition homepage. So if you do want to just go back and refresh your memory. If you find any timetable clashes, or if, let's say, a class changes and suddenly it's a problem, or let's say you are trying to enroll into an elective at any point and it's not coming up on your system, but you've been told it should be available, the best thing to do is to raise an Ask Flinders request, and that's when enrolment inquiries will help support you manage your timetable. Or the other option is to go up to Flinders Connect and they will walk it through with you as well. Just flagging to you that we do have some critical dates that you might have already been made aware of, but you have until Friday the 10th of March to enrol into a topic. So if you start a topic and go, oh, I don't want to do this, I'm going to swap to something else for this semester, you can swap up until the 10th of March. So it's the end of teaching week 2. So you shouldn't have too much to catch up on in the new topic. You can also get to Friday the 31st of March and think, actually, this I need to change, this course isn't for me, and you can still withdraw without having to be liable for fees at that point. And then there's also the withdraw, not fail, and withdraw dates. So that's around what presents on your transcript. So there's still an opportunity, you'll still be liable for fees at the withdraw, not fail period, but you won't have it come up as a fail on your transcript. which can affect your GPA. And then there's the withdraw fail date, which is more important if you've had some really adverse things happen that semester, you've been really unwell, or there's been some personal issues and you think that's had detrimental impact on your ability to study, you can go for remission of fees at that point. So while you've paid your fees, you've done most of the topic, you can withdraw at that point and request a remission of fees with evidence to support. This may not apply to a broad number of you, but if for any reason you do have an access plan or you feel that you need one, Health and Counselling will negotiate these plans. So it may be that you have dyslexia, or maybe that there is something that means you just might need some extra time in exams, or extenuating circumstances that lecturers need to be aware of, but that you don't want to have to explain every single time to every single lecturer. What Health and Counselling will do is create a plan for you. It doesn't have a huge amount of detail, but it does say what support teaching staff should be giving you. You just need to give that to the academics at the beginning of the semester so that they know that you're on a plan and they need to create these arrangements for you. It's similar if you're in the elite. Is anyone elite athlete here? So, oh, you are? Excellent. So yeah, again, just letting staff know when you first start your topic and giving them that documentation. And then that obviously means that you can negotiate your deadlines and things like that around your events. Yep, brilliant. So this is just some slides around sort of who's around to help you. I guess one of your first port of calls might be us, your nutrition teaching team. So that's, I think, all of us pretty much. Oh, I don't think I've got Adeline up there actually. So this is our current teaching team. Some of these phases will be much more familiar to you than others. So for example, Alison Yaxley predominantly only teaches dietetics topics, so you probably won't see much of her around. And a few of the others teach more sort of second, third year topics. But you'll see Jane and Carolyn, myself, and I think that might be it predominantly for this year, with a lot of your other topics being health science based or science and engineering. If you need to find us at any point, we are in this building but on the other side, so it's sort of like a U shape and up one floor. So we're on STIRT level 3 North Corridor. We have a big long corridor of individuals of us and then a couple of shared offices further down. It is a good idea if you want to meet with any of us though that you just give us a little heads up that you're coming first though. We all have quite varied roles in associate with our teaching, so often there's meetings and other bits and pieces that we're called to, so just let us know that you're heading down if you did want to meet. In terms of staying in touch with what's happening with nutrition, we have a shared course page that we share with dietetics, and this is where we will put announcements out around volunteering opportunities, casual jobs. There's actually a list that I'm about to post later on that Meg, who's coming shortly, has sent me around part-time jobs that's going at the minute. So if you're interested in a part-time job, there was quite a few on there. She tends to try and send me the nutrition focus ones, so where it's like diet monitors, catering assistants, dietetic assistants, that type of thing. But she also sends me the careers jobs as well. So for some of you that are starting to try and think like, what am I going to do with this degree? And today might be too early for that, but maybe in a few months, you know, when you're starting to really think like, oh, what am I going to do? Like, where is this degree taking me? Checking those career postings is really helpful because you can start seeing the types of jobs that are going to come up for once you're completed. We also offer professional education, so it might be that we've heard of a seminar or a workshop that might be of interest to you, and also that's where you can find a host of student resources as well, including the slides from today, and the handbook for the nutrition program is on there as well. Has everyone managed to link into the Eduroam internet? It can be a bit faffy sometimes, but generally if you search up, to be honest, I tend to find if you just Google Flinders Internet Connect, it'll bring you up the right page. But Eduroam is our internet service, and usually once you've logged on once, it will default to it every time you come onto campus. And that should be present at any of our other campuses as well. So if you're up the hill or if Flinders in the city for any reason, they should work there too. So has everyone got that information? Yep. Has everyone ordered their ID card? Yeah? Okay, so if you haven't, just getting onto that. You definitely want that for your cheap seats at the movies and anything else it gets you. I think we also still use it for photocopying, maybe. It might be a bit out of date with that. But just get that sorted out. And I think it can now be done all online. You don't even have to go in person, which is fantastic. In that same portal where you order your student card, there's also the new student section, which has lots of help as well, and contact numbers for if you need any assistance. Okay. This might be meaningless to you right now, but hopefully we'll come back to you once teaching starts if it starts becoming pertinent. So Flinders are in the process of moving to a new teaching platform. So all of our topics at the moment are on a platform that we refer to as Flow, which is actually called Moodle. And it's just the design and the architecture for where we store all of our teaching and our teaching sites. We're in the process of moving to Canvas, which is a slightly different program, a slightly different look. What that is likely to mean is that across this year, you might have topics sitting in one or the other as we start transitioning across, and because you're doing topics from different programs, so you're doing some health topics, you're doing some science topics, and then you're doing some NUTD topics. By the end of next year, all of us will be in Canvas, but just at the minute you've come at a point in transition, and so it may be that if you can't find your topic in Flow, you might need to look at for the ones in Canvas. So there's a process there, but topic coordinators will clue you in, but that's the rationale behind what's happening there. I think what you'll find is there'll be a very few of them in Canvas right now, but come semester 2, probably most of your topics will be in Canvas. They look pretty similar, there's just some subtle differences, but the functionality is near enough the same. It's just your menus will look a little bit different. Just reminding you to get a parking permit. It is all electronic parking permits now. There is the Flinders railway station, so if you are in the city you can catch the train, and there is the loop bus around the campuses. So we've also got our Tonsley campus, so sometimes parking's easier there and getting the bus in at different times of the year. I think everything's free this week is what I heard people saying, and what I've heard, but then they will start getting hot on the ticketing once O Week dies down, so just make sure you've got a permit. And if you move your car, make sure to update your permit. Or if you borrow someone else's car, make sure you've got that one in your system as well, so if you share cars. Just to flag to you that the uni has a number of scholarships. These scholarships are usually to help cover academic costs, and as I said, there's also some scholarships for the overseas program, the mobility program, and these are often not well taken up because students don't know about them, so it's worth having a look to see if there's any there that would fit for you and worth putting your hat in the ring if you think you're eligible. Just letting you know, we do have security on campus, and so if there is any unsocial behaviour or if you feel unsafe, you can call that number 8201 2118, or you can email if it's been an incident that you're not happy about. We have health and counselling who have a doctor and a nurse and a counsellor and a disability advisor, and they're available Monday to Friday, but do have an after hours crisis support line as well. We also have Oasis Student Wellbeing Centre, so they have a number of ways to connect, whether it's just for a bit of quiet and meditation, or whether it's for their Flinders Community Market, which is supported by Food Bank, so there's free groceries. So yeah, everyone loves the word free. And they also have a volunteer program as well. These are just some other services that you'll probably start getting aware of. So conversation groups, our Pride Network, a prayer room, and the Good Vibes Experiment, which is really looking around self-care and mental health. And these are sort of where you have your supports. And as I said, we've got our student experience coordinator, Jane, and she's going to chat to you about her role towards the end. On Flow, there's lots of study support resources. So these are on the nutrition homepage, and also mental fitness resources as well around self-care. Lots of ways to stay connected. A lot of students love being on the Overheard at Flinders page. There's a lot of staff on that page as well. Always watching to make sure that our topics aren't getting mentioned as being ones that students are having problems with. I'd like to get in there quick. Has anyone in on the duck memes yet as well for Flinders? So if you get on the Overheard at Flinders, there's a whole duck theme going on through that stream. So we obviously do have our resident ducks up at main campus, and they've quite popular with some of the students. So if you enjoy a duck meme, get on Overheard at Flinders. It's a fun page to be on. Any questions at this point? Nope. All right, I think, have I got you next, Jane? Yep. So Jane's going to chat to you now about her role, and then we've got, trying to remember the program, I think we've got our reps coming in to chat to you, and then we've got Meg coming in for careers and meeting your mentors, and then we're done. Does anyone want to get up and have a stretch, or is everyone coping with the heat? It's very warm. I'm struggling and I'm not sitting and listening.
So do any of you have any questions for Olivia? It's all quite clear, is it? No, they've got no questions for you.
Oh, no.
Just double checking.
Oh, you did have one.
Yeah. So welcome everyone. My role here is, as well as teaching the nutrition, physical activity and health topic that you're doing in second semester, is the student experience coordinator. So what I do is I have a pastoral care role. So if you're having some trouble or issues with your studies, or even with just life in general, then it's my role for you to contact me. And sometimes it's quite useful to contact someone who is outside of your topic to have a chat with. So I also look at, Olivia and I have been looking at strategic activities to engage you as students and keep you in touch with each other, and put on various activities throughout the semester, the year and the subsequent years as well. I also can link you into other services as you might need them, and there's some extracurricular activities where you can practice your nutrition skills where I'm involved with as well. So one of the things that I think is important to think about at university, it is different. If you've come straight from school, you get a lot of support from your teachers, or if you've been out in the workforce or been doing other things for a while, you might not be used to study. So it is different. It's likely to be different environment that you're in. So it is important to not just be focusing on your studies, but also on your overall mental health and physical health. As nutrition students, generally, we find we would many of you be following a healthy diet and doing exercise anyway, but I think one of the things that nutrition students often don't think about is looking after their general mental health and well-being. So thinking about having sufficient sleep, looking at a work-life balance. Now, how many of you are actually working part-time, have got a job as well? Yep. And we find many people need to support themselves and are working part-time, and some people are actually working full-time and studying full-time, and then things really start to fall apart. So I just want you to think about where your work fits in, and as you progress through your degree, you will find it probably more challenging to continue to work the hours that you're doing. So it's good to sort of think up front what to do if your employer asks you to do extra shifts and you've got an assignment due. So actually, if you're sort of thinking about that now, rather than waiting till the situation actually occurs, when we find that many students want to say yes to their employers, and then their studies start to suffer. So there are many opportunities for you to discuss these sorts of issues, either with myself, with the course coordinator, or with counselling services if you need them. So there's other things to sort of think about: managing stress, think about exercise and meditation, and keeping up relationships with friends. And also continuing to have a social life as well is important. And one of the other things we find with students, particularly in the nutrition topics, is that often you guys are high achievers, and so it's actually being kind to yourselves as well, and learning from those mistakes that you make. Something else to think about is getting yourself organised. So these are the things that, if you just have make a mental note now, have you ticked these things off already? Enrolled, looked at workshops that are available to familiarise yourself with the library services, for example. Are you familiar with Flow? Have you looked at your timetable? Have you looked at the assessment dates and when they're due? So actually having yourself organised now while you've got some time will help you throughout the semester. Looking at parking, looking at where your classrooms are. So these are some of the extracurricular activities. You can see on the left there, that's 3 students that I took to the Repat Hospital last year, and they provided some nutrition activities for their anniversary event. So there were a whole group of allied health students that went along, and these students were doing those nutrition activities there. There are many clubs and organisations, and we're going to be having someone from the Flinders University Rural Health Society come, as well as the club called FUNK, which is Flinders University Nutrition Club, which is really an opportunity to engage with other nutrition as well as dietetic students. And there's a whole range of other things that you might be interested in. It might be sport, or it might be film or politics, or international students that you want to connect with. Our 2 reps are coming at some stage, so when they arrive, we'll hear from them. Olivia's also already mentioned the Oasis, and one of the things that they do provide is the community market. So that is where food is donated by various food organisations, and it's available at a cheap price. So we know one of the things that I've done is I worked with a colleague, and we looked at food insecurity in students, and surprisingly it is actually quite high. There's a lot of students that don't have a lot of money to spend on food, and so there is this opportunity for any student to purchase cheap groceries or fresh fruits and vegetables, whatever's available at Oasis, and that market is on Thursday lunchtimes. A lot of the international students or students that live on campus really utilise that as well, but there's no reason why you can't utilise that. One of the other things that we do is we have some of our nutrition students will do cooking demonstrations there, and I'll talk about that shortly. With your studies, you're not just looking to study here, but to be involved in university life. And one of the ways that you can do that is be a course management student rep. There's a couple of things that is useful about being a course management rep. It helps you to find out from other students how they're coping with their courses and what they think about different topics that they're studying, and provide that feedback to us as the academics, and that happens twice a year at the end of each semester. It's also something good to have on your CV. So it's not something that doesn't have to take up a lot of time. Our first year rep last year was really very active, and she was engaged in lots of aspects of university life, and she has really got a good understanding now of how the university works, and for her, going to a job interview, she can talk about that experience of being a course management rep. So if any of you are interested in that, if you could let me know. Because we do need someone to represent you as first year nutrition subjects, your topics that you're doing. Otherwise, you won't have a voice, and we won't necessarily know that these are the things that you'd like changing, or these are the things that you think are good. Some things we can change and some things we can't because they're outside of the nutrition curriculum. It might be a science topic, but we can provide that feedback to the science lecturers and topic coordinators. So that is an important role. So this is really STEW, or Students Eat Well. This is a program that is something that I'm really quite excited about. This has been going for a number of years, and it's a program where you can sign up and, as nutrition students, provide nutrition education to other students on campus or outside of campus, and even as first years you can be involved in this. And in fact, one of the first things that we're going to be doing is some cooking sessions with our international students, particularly focusing on new international students, and to help familiarise them with Australian culture and Australian food, but also for us to learn about some of their foods that they have. And also we find that many people who have come from interstate or from overseas have never cooked before and don't have cooking skills. As nutrition students, you might think that this is something that is just, I would expect most of you can do some type of cooking. Is anyone who can't cook? But there are some people that really don't have particularly good cooking skills and have never had that opportunity. And particularly in many cultures or many places overseas, when I went to visit Indonesia, a family there, they would cook very little. They would actually just have most of their food from food carts or from takeaways. And there'd be one matriarch in the family that might do most of the cooking, and the others are not involved at all. So we do find that this is something that you can be involved with. These three students in the middle, they provided a cooking demonstration at Oasis at the food market. So what they did, they went to the food market, collected some of those foods, and they made those 3 meals, and it cost $5. And then this is another student who was providing some nutrition activities during National Nutrition Week, which is in October. So we have a stall here at Sturt, and we just talk to passers-by as they're coming past and ask them some questions, or engage them and get them talking about nutrition. So this program, I provide training for that, and there's going to be some training session next week and the week after. I'm going to offer that to nutrition and dietetics students as well. The times haven't been decided yet because that will depend on your availability. So if you're interested in being involved in this, this is where you can actually start to be involved in nutrition right from week 2, really, from next week or the week after. Let me know after this session, or again you can send me an email at jane.barber@flinders. So the aims, I think I've talked to most of this, is, so the aim of STEW is for us to provide, as a group, nutrition education to people more widely, and to increase the sort of health and cooking skills of other students. For you as nutrition students, it helps you to connect, with each other, and gives you confidence in talking to other people about nutrition. Other things that we're involved is once or twice during the year we have high school students that come through, and they actually investigating to see if they want to study science or health science at Flinders University. So we might have 10 groups of 10. Last year we had an Indigenous school that came through, and we had groups of 10, and we had 3 different stations with 2 pairs of nutrition students actually providing nutrition activities to high school students. And we might be an open day to promote nutrition dietetic topics where we provide those activities. At the training, I provide information on food handling, food hygiene, how to present, how to do a cooking demonstration, because on TV, if you see them doing cooking demonstrations, they make it look really easy. But if you think about when you're cooking, and you're cooking in front of an audience, and you're actually concentrating on what you're doing, whether you're chopping the onion and talking at the same time, that's actually quite a hard skill to do. So you get to practice doing that. And then actually engaging with your audience, asking them questions or answering their nutrition questions while you're doing the preparation. That's a really great way of providing that nutrition education. In the training, we look at how to modify recipes. You will learn that in your studies, but we'll give you just a little bit up front. And then as you progress through later years, you can be a mentor for other students as they start. So that's my email, just as a reminder, or let me know at the end of the session if you're interested in that. Shall I talk about NSA, or did you want to do that?
Yeah, I'll talk about it. Meg's just doing it next door, and then she's going to come to us. I'm just thinking to stop us all from falling asleep, should we do a little bit of getting to know each other? Just humour me for 5 minutes. Why don't we stand up and let's get moving. I'm going to give you 2 options, and I want one option. If you identify with one option more than the other, you're going to go to one side of the room or the other, and let's see where everyone's sitting. So I'll start with some easy ones. So carrots or broccoli? Carrots that way, broccoli that way. Favourites? Let's see where everyone's sitting. Who's a carrot, who's broccoli? Ooh, interesting. Broccoli's normally the one that doesn't get the love. Okay. Smoothie or juice? Oh, okay. Smoothies. Interesting. Reality TV or sport on TV?
Or depends what sport.
Oh, you gotta choose one or the other. Yeah, see, I'm way over here. Which reality TV are we watching in here?
Love Island.
Love Island,
Yeah,
really?
I love it.
Any good housewives with
And
you?
maths.
Yeah. Maths,
Yeah.
Oh gosh, geez.
Anything
So
dramatic,
bad this
yeah.
year. It's awful. Alright, soccer or footy? Because they're the 2 sports I know. Oh, really? And I'm over here in soccer on my own. Oh, are you a soccer as well? Alright. Snow holiday or beach holiday?
Just done both.
You can't have your cake and eat it. Oh, we've got some like movement. Okay. So our group's pretty cohesive. We've got only a little bit of outliers here. Indie guitar music, dance pop music. If I just show my age for those terms.
Yeah.
I love how you're like, yeah, sorry. What are the terms? What would I say now? What is the music genre terms now? Do you just don't even ask? That's a mum question. Guilty as charged. Okay, last one. Oh, I was gonna say tea or coffee, but I reckon, do any of you guys even drink tea or coffee? Oh, you do? Alright, tea, coffee. Ooh, okay. Often with our students, they're like, no, too healthy, we're just full on the water. Like, none of this caffeine stuff. You're not people, you're not you're the awesome few that came in person today. So why don't you just spend a few minutes saying hi? Hey, Peter. And we've just got, the energy has just entered the room.
The party's here.
Say hi quickly and then we'll introduce you to our student reps. So, come on in. We're just doing a bit of meet and greet. It's just so hot and stuffy in here.
Yeah, it's too warm, isn't it?
Do some English.
So it's... Oh, is this for the cameras? Are we all here then?
These are all first years.
Love that. Most exciting. Right, good. Yeah. And here, I'm going to stand over here and then we'll have a big circle. Need name tags.
It's alright.
Circle. We're all friends in the circle.
Yeah, we got lost for about an hour.
Oh,
Yeah. It's crazy. Are we just doing?
yeah, names, intros.
I mean, I was going to suggest trust falls.
Nice to meet you. I'm Mike. Yes, I'm Mike. 18 years old. Years age. That's it.
Fresh out of high school.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Oh,
That's the best vibe. You find them free.
yeah.
Uni heaps better. Yeah, it's way more relaxed. Yeah.
Oh, is that mate? Is that what you say? Yeah.
I'm Eva. I'm a third year here in TEDx. Sarah's another one. Yeah. So, if you have any questions, chuck them
So
out.
Eva actually just did the human nutrition degree for the last 2 years. I tried to hang on to her as long as I could, but she was on a mission.
Flew the coop.
But she's going to be one of your mentors, and Eva, there isn't much that Eva has not participated in at uni. She is just energy personified, so if you need to know anything, this is your girl.
Yeah.
And also, our other mentors are amazing as well.
Yeah, Sarah's been really involved as well. If you want to know anything about extracurriculars, like resume building things, like we love it.
What about Stu?
Sarah's big in Stu. I'm worried I've got the finger of the talking. But no, Sarah's big into Stu at the moment.
And we're very involved with the University Nutrition Council. Sorry.
Did you just want to talk to Funk now?
Yeah, can do. Here,
now.
here, wait,
So
I've got,
yeah.
I brought props.
Oh, love it.
In your handbag.
Organize.
And we've got the link to the first, if you want to first person's here as well, so.
Yeah, how is Spurs, guys? Spurs is actually great as well, so this isn't everything he says. But here, I've got an actual stack. If you guys want to pass them around.
Yeah.
Do we have like, do we have our slides or Sarah's got a USB. Can I plug that in?
Yeah.
Real quick? On a PDF?
Sure, you could just keep talking while I do this.
Yeah, okay, sure. All right, guys. Well, hello. As you know, my name is Eva, and I'm here to talk to you about the Flinders University Nutrition Club, or FUNK. So what we are primarily is like a social club.
That
so
at the
we
very
host a lot
bottom,
of,
FUNK
like,
presentation
little events,
2023.
get you guys to meet each other,
Yeah.
mingling, de-stressing from uni a little bit. But we do also do a little bit of like nutrition awareness, posting, that sort of thing. So recently, like Dietitian Connection's been doing like gut health month, so we did a few posts about that. Thank you. But also, oh, you're techie. Yeah. So we do a little bit on nutrition awareness, but we also do like external events, advertising as well. So like if Nutrition Society Australia is hosting an event or Dietitians Australia is hosting an event, we post about those so you guys can get involved. The photos of our, are of our really good bake sale we did last year. Sorry, I get so nervous when I speak. For National Nutrition Week last year. So what we did was we made a bunch of treats that incorporated a fruit or a vegetable, and sold them to the students and handed out recipe cards. So that was really cool. So yeah. Next one we've got, so these are our events for the semester that you can get involved in, and they're all on the little sheets of paper that I handed out to you, so take them home and keep them safe. But in week 2, we'll be hosting a picnic up in Anchor Court, so you probably don't know where that is yet, but you will by the end of week 2 because your labs are all up that end. But we're going to have some snacks, you can come mingle, meet other first years, talk to us third years if you've got questions, that sort of thing. Sorry, in week 6, we've got our AGM, which is like a meeting where we elect new committee members. So if you'd like to get involved, come along to that. We can vote you in and get you helping out on the committee if you're keen. We're also doing a movie night that night, so we'll be watching Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. So if you want to just come hang out before the mid-semester break, that's an opportunity for you there. But we're also having a pub crawl in week 13. The theme is Drink the Rainbow. So, so we're pretty keen on it. We're going to be taking photos of different coloured drinks and having a good time. So come get your one. But yeah, that should be really great, and it's often a really good chance to meet other students and just, you know, de-stress and bond over how stressed you have been. So, but yeah, so that's that. How to get involved, if you guys want to whip out your phones and sign up now, that's totally cool. The QR code will link you to our Google form, which will add you to our mailing list and basically make you an official member. And we have it pinned on the top of our Facebook page. If you don't want to do it right now, do it later. Follow our socials, again, you can scan these. We'll be posting all the updates about our events. Yeah, and any cool things that might be coming along. So yeah, thanks guys. No, it's totally free.
Yeah.
Totally free. We provide heaps of snacks, and they're often a little bit nutritious, so yeah. It's a good time though if you want to be involved. But yeah, that's about it from me. Do you want to add anything, Sarah?
Yeah, so we also often post events that we see that is nutrition related, like if Dietitians Australia doing a walk or something.
Yeah, that's
we'll
coming up
post
next
that.
month.
Yeah.
So we can all go walking together.
Yeah.
People we might work with.
And being part of the committee, if you can fit it in, I really recommend that because it's a fantastic way to build your contacts and just build a bit of a support group as well. It doesn't take that much time and it's really nice.
Yeah, it's not too much of like an onerous task really. It's pretty flexible with uni commitments, and it's like if you can't do something, it's okay. We've got other people that can help out, you know, so it's pretty flexible. But it is good, it looks great on your resume, and it's a great way to meet people as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, love it. Thank you. I'm calmer now than I was at the start.
Pop the video on.
I'll just take this one.
Are staff allowed to come on the pub crawl?
Yes.
As long as you can.
I'll just take it out.
Now, did you want us to play the video? Or are you going to talk and we'll just put the video up online for them? What would you like?
Yeah, I think I'll just talk.
Yeah, just talk. Yeah, cool. No worries.
Yeah, so I'm Alvin. I'm a part of FIRS, which stands for, well, it's the Rural Health Society here. What we do, what we're really interested in is sort of getting people interested in living, working rurally, and, you know, just seeing what it's like. You know, we host a lot of different events. Next month, we have our own AGM where we're electing some committee members, stuff like events coordinators and stuff like that. Again, it's really cool to get involved. Some things that we're really doing that are really, really cool are we host 2 rural high school visits every single year, where we go to rural high schools, present workshops to people that, you know, are interested in studying, you know, at Flinders or uni anywhere to health, and, you know, would like to go back and, you know, give their sort of, you know, service and attention in rural communities. Last year we went to Mount Gambier. The year before was KI, Kangaroo Island, and this year we're sort of figuring it out still, but we've got a couple places in mind. We do trips to a lot of places. There's one planned to Corn, and every year we tend to run a camp in the Riverland, which is really, really fun. Personally, I was on that last year, and yeah, made a whole lot of new friends. You know, you get these presentations from people that are in the industry, so in the profession, and they provide so much expertise. The sort of the vibe that you get is that like there's so much wider sort of scope of practice, so much more you can do in a rural setting as opposed to a city setting because of somewhat it's the sort of shortage that we have. That we need people in those areas, but the fact that you can be a generalist gives you so much learning opportunity. Some other things that we do lots of networking events with the Adelaide Uni Rural Health Association, or AURA. We do conferences and councils with the National Rural Health Students Network and SARA, which is the South Australian Rural Remote Allied Health Network, where they just pull in a lot of different professionals and students in sort of one place to give presentations on some of the research and stuff that's been happening. So that's also really cool. It's all paid for, so it's a big opportunity that you can take advantage of. What else? Social events as well. Last year we started running cocktail nights with Aura, and we're also planning on making it a tri-university thing with the newly formed sort of UniSA Rural Health Society. So that's something in the pipeline that's to get excited for. Yeah, to be honest, I kind of just went through the entire thing very quickly. So
we're going to put the video up on the slide yet, just to chat. Any questions on that? I'm really excited. I'm going to go on all this stuff.
Bricklaying camp is actually so good.
Yeah.
It is actually the best time. And you
Yeah.
meet heaps of people. Yeah.
And I think that message you were saying around like the allied health and connecting with all the other disciplines, like you are a part of an allied health workforce as nutritionists. We do a lot with dietetics. There's no, we're all collegial. Like just because you're in this program doesn't mean we're not mixing with the other programs and really aspiring to be working very closely with those programs. So starting those relationships now and connecting with industry who could potentially become your employer, through these social events. They hear your name. The wonderful thing about South Australia that I think is quite unique is that it's small, and when you start meeting people, they start connecting you straight away, and that's actually very different to working overseas or interstate, where you're sort of a name in a big pond of names. Here, so it can work against you as well. You do need to be conscious of the fact that people might remember your name, and you want it to be for good reasons. But these interactions with them are so important for career and meeting your colleagues, like your future colleagues, like the students you're mixing with, other people that you'll be working with out there in a few years' time. So the more connected you are now, the better connected you are as a graduate too. So thank you so much for coming and chatting to us. I kind of want to sign up for both now. I'm upset that I'm so old. I'm feeling the old. That and not knowing the lingo for music genre. I'm going to have to go get my 10-year-old to school me a little bit. So I've just seen Meg come in. Meg, do you want to come up and... Now, what do I need to do with your slides? Do I
emailed them through at the very last minute, which I apologise.
No, that's okay. I think Jane's logged in. So have you got them online or?
Yeah, I could tap into them on my...
Is that all right?
laptop, so I can...
I'm just going to make the screen go black a little bit. Ooh. Just while we log in and get the slides up for Meg. So Meg's our careers advisor from Career Hub. So she's just going to talk to you about some of the services that they have for now and for later. So I realise this is day one. You guys are like, really? Careers? I'm just trying to figure out my timetable, guys. But it's never too early to start thinking about these things. You are so ideally positioned in this area at the minute in that there is a workforce shortage of allied health, and as Alvin quite rightly said, in rural areas there is a big opportunity to practice outside the traditional scope of what you're expected as a nutritionist because they are so short of workforce. And there is a lot of policy and research and energy going in at the moment to look at how we can blend
wasn't sure she put it in.
No worries, thanks so much. So yes, it's actually a really exciting time to be in a health profession and degree, wherever you end up and whatever you end up doing with that. I think the scope of the activities that you'll be able to do after your banner will just grow in future times because of what's needed. And hence sort of why we've built in that health coaching topic into the nutrition degree, because it really expands the types of ways that industry can use you and your skill set, which we've always known you've had, but we just need to show you. I just need to change it to the room PC on that one.
So,
Yep, that one. And
we're
you're
there.
good.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much, Olivia, for having me. So my name's Meg. I'm career consultant from Careers and Employability. You'll know us as Career Hub because that's what we look like on your Okta dashboard. So I'd really encourage you, get out your phones, devices, whatever, and maybe bring up the Okta, and we'll even have a look at Career Hub as we go along this morning. So what you're looking for is this Career Hub.
Meg, are you going to wander a little bit? I'm just thinking maybe.
Yes, we got online as well.
Yes.
Hello.
Well,
Yep.
We should have a couple who will go on with the recording.
Great.
Yeah.
Good idea. Definitely a good idea. So, okay. So hi everyone in the room, hi to everyone online, and hi to everyone watching the recording. So how are people going on Okta? Have we got the thing? So what you're going to see, this is going to be glasses on and off the whole way, is here's Career Hub. You've got course-specific resources. I'm going to talk about our free Skills Building Horizon program as one of those great opportunities along the way. And there's positions vacant as well. So loads of jobs you can go check out on Career Hub. What I really want to show you first up is plan your career, course-specific resources. Sorry, there are just lots of clicks. Nursing and health sciences, health and disability, and then human nutrition. So we've got this page for you on Career Hub that's like your 24/7 one-stop career shop, just a bundling of resources you can tap into at any time. And what you're going to see there is you can do a bit of career research. We've got a special toolkit for you. So examples of jobs, so you can start to explore. I've collated some past opportunities and just bundled them there so you can start to see, well, where might I work as a graduate from human nutrition? We've got resume examples, career pack that's got sample resume, cover letters, all of that sort of stuff. Job search sites, organisations of interest, volunteering and virtual internship opportunities, professional associations, LinkedIn, and following sector news. So you can explore that in your own time. I guess one of the things I'm going to emphasise today is you're at the start of this whole journey and you had that time to sort of map out some of the career development that you might want to do. So it's about understanding where you're at right now and then thinking about things that you might want to do, explore and try out over the next few years. Some of the things I'll talk about are also about making a great start at uni and a great transition to university life, but they also just happen to build your career skills and employability as well. So, just take it step by step. All right, let's, glasses back on. Is that going to work? No, let's go back. And we've lost it on the full screen. Okay, I'll just try again.
Maybe even just do it in the view that we said.
Yeah, I think that would be better. I actually had this problem in the other room. Probably shouldn't have. Oh dear.
So the internet starts buffering.
Yeah.
If you shut the other tab, will that help load faster?
Let's just shut all of those. Sorry, guys. All right. I'll just maybe say in this view because it might be safer. Okie dokie. I would like to acknowledge that we're giving this presentation today from the lands of the Kaurna people. Pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. And you will see that Flinders University actually teaches across and has campuses across many, many of these traditional lands.
I started trying to say all the lands and then I realised that I was not going to be very respectful in my presentation of those names. So
Right, yes.
I think I need an intensive course on those names.
There's some very good online videos. Jack Buskin.
I need to do
Yes.
this.
So careers, who are we? We work across three main areas. So I'm from the career education. We have the professional development horizon platform and employer engagement. So you can see it's all about building those skills right from the very beginning. We've started to have a look at Career Hub, so I encourage you to continue that exploration, and all of those resources you can have a look at on that nutrition page. But what I want to do is really start on where you're at right now and who you are. So one way I do that is to take you and we divide your life into four. Around that circle is what's your drivers and motivation, what's got you into the room today, what are you looking forward to in nutrition, what's your background. So you're all here studying that Bachelor of Human Nutrition. Maybe some of you have done some other certificates and short courses. You might pick up on Horizon. There's a whole world of learning you can embrace over the next few years. Does anyone have any experience in food, health, nutrition as yet? Yeah?
Personal trainer.
You're a personal trainer, fantastic. And you too? Great combination with human nutrition, as are many other sort of combinations. So you're building up and you're building in that sector. So some of you might be starting careers, some of you might be building them, some of you might be changing careers. The key thing is it's your story. It's about your points of difference and your uniqueness. So some of you might have that sector experience as volunteering. So there's a lot of volunteering you can do in food, community and health. It might be the paid work. It might be some placement experience or industry projects that you do along the way here. There are virtual internships you can do as well. That employment, casual employment, no just or only. About that, I've had people in the nutrition and dietetics area who've worked in a liquor store, who've worked in Coles supermarket, or Hungry Jack's in the fast food. And it tells you a lot about the community, food patterns, your regular customers, what's going into people's trolleys. So take the widest possible lens on your experiences and how they connect to your sector. Who are you when you aren't working or studying? So is anyone involved in any community volunteering, artistic? Yeah?
We've got an athlete.
Yeah, an athlete?
Yeah.
Wonderful. It could be musical, cultural, all sorts of different things. All of that makes up your story and who you are. And you need to really understand that identity, because you're the student nutritionist from here on, becoming that emerging professional in your field. And there's a diversity of pathways that you might take, but some of these strategies, and you've just heard some wonderful stuff about Nutrition Club and Rural Health Society, and I'm going to talk about that a bit as well. So there's loads of ways that you can develop yourself, but it starts with that self-understanding, knowing a bit about some of the options, which you can explore on the nutrition page. How am I going to develop my skills? If I spot that dream job, what are they looking for? What sorts of knowledge? What sorts of experience? What sorts of skills? How am I going to show that to those dream employers? And marketing yourself, and we've got all the toolkit for you to do that. So have a look into the future. I encourage people to go onto those job boards and explore what's out there. That's for your future careers and also potentially jobs whilst you study. And I think I've sent through a whole pile of
I'm about to put them up today. I've just said that
a ton of stuff. Yeah. So here's one. It's a public health nutritionist and it's a graduate position. So what do they want? Sorry about the small print there. Glasses off. So yeah, they were looking for nutrition and or dietetics, social determinants of health, public health, but they want some things like teamwork, engaging with stakeholders, written and oral communication skills, communicate effectively, and a whole range of things like that. So you start to get a sense of, okay, that's the bucket list for the employer. And some of the things I'm doing right now will show evidence of those skills. What might I do in the next 2 or 3 years to take that even further through my course? So you've got to think a bit like the employer. Too often I hear the words, it was just, it was only, and I don't allow those words. Everything stands for something. So you might be working in a retail role, and as I was saying, maybe it's in the supermarket, you're learning about people's food habits. It might be about the communication skills, conflict resolution skills, client relationship skills, motivating, inspiring people, building confidence, working in teams, working under pressure, reliability, punctuality. Employers really value that stuff. Maybe the employer really wants evidence of motivation, drive, excellence. You might show that through grades, you might show that through other pursuits. The athletics pursuits, for example, the goal setting that you do and things you achieve. Research analytical skills, you'll be showing that through your studies over the next few years. Employment, again, speaks to those client relationship skills. If you don't tell them, they won't know. So we've got those sample resumes to show you where you can fit all of that stuff. Maybe you'll be a mentor, maybe you're being mentored. It's all about relationships. And you know, as Olivia was saying, we're a small community and it's a community with so much goodwill. So reach out and tap into that on campus and off campus. I've talked a bit about looking at the jobs. Have a look at what's out there. Think about do I have mobility? Am I looking at Adelaide? Am I looking at rural, remote areas? Am I looking interstate? Am I looking globally? And periodically go in and have a look at those job boards. What's out there? What are they looking for? What do you need to develop? What appeals, what doesn't? Because that's going to help focus you and your career goals. Save those jobs of interest, set up job alerts, join talent communities, look at those dream employers, and can you sign up to get job alerts from them? So it's all great information and really easy to tap into. You can do this stuff very efficiently. So sample jobs. I'm pretty sure all of those were on Career Hub, so you can actually go in and have a look at those and look at those expired job vacancies, and I think I've probably got some of them on those Jobs Banks PowerPoints I've got. But these are some of the potential things down the track that someone with a nutrition set of studies and maybe some experiences you built in along the way may well go for. So program facilitation, health and wellbeing. Yes, you see the qualified nutritionist job title, public health nutritionist positions, nutrition advisor, food hub coordinator, youth positions, child nutrition development, community engagement, kitchen garden foundation, food industry, recipe editorial assistant, health promotion graduate, program coordinator. So start to get a sense of what experiences are going to help you develop your professional profile towards those sorts of roles. It might be about your own business as well. If you're looking for casual work, and Olivia's going to be sharing, there's a whole bunch of really interesting roles. I've put a bit of a focus in the lead to the presentations this morning, just to give you a bit of a kickstart if you're looking at some of that work whilst you're studying. So there's food services assistants in hospitals, aged care, could be customer service in health kind of settings, hospitality. You can see some of the roles SA Health have put up: diet monitor, liaison assistant, menu monitor, infant nutrition attendant, catering, customer service pools, kitchen hand, hospitality. It's all stuff that's around the sector, starts to focus a resume in a particular direction. So what might you do? Where do you start? Well, start here. You've got a transition to manage. The stuff I'm talking about isn't overnight. It's not all do at once, and not everything might be relevant to you. You've got to pick and choose and map it out over your time here. There's a great website for getting involved here at Flinders. So I do encourage you to look at that. You've got your club societies, and you've heard a little bit about some of those. I really encourage that. You can include that on your resume. It's great to get to know people, take an office, get involved with events. It's all skills building, all things that you can reflect on as part of your development. There's the sport and fitness here, great facilities, events. You can be a wellbeing ambassador. So loads of stuff that you can do just here on campus
If there's any chance to be a topic representative or be on a uni committee, take it up. You can advocate for your peers, you start to learn about that university governance, you get familiar with committee roles. This is all stuff you'll be doing through your careers. So really check out those opportunities, and yes, I've got the Nutrition Club and the Rural Health Society there for you as well. So really encourage that. Horizon Development Award, as I mentioned, it's a free award, it's self-paced, it's points-based. As nutritionists, health professionals in the future, often you will have to do continuing professional development as part of professional membership. This starts that process for you. So activities you do outside of work and studies, it could be volunteering, joining club societies, joining professional associations, online courses, all of that stuff. Get your points. And we've got bronze, silver, gold and platinum levels. We do award ceremonies, so you get really strong recognition that you are building those employability skills. So something to definitely start. And starting right now, there's no reason why you wouldn't go platinum. You can do some of our workshops, and we've announced that schedule for semester 1. And you can see it's all those skills employers want. Decision making, communication language, collaboration, teamwork, diversity, problem solving. There's a leadership specialisation as well. We do lunch with leaders, so the opportunity just to hear from and meet pretty inspiring people. And people at all levels and all disciplines on campus as well. Jobs come up on campus, so casual library roles, if you're looking for that. Flinders Market had some casual positions, that's through Oasis. And International Student Services might advertise for arrival team members. Students can join casual registers, so we've had some work in Flinders Connect as well. So just flagging, there's a lot happening on campus. There are opportunities to be a paid student ambassador with our student recruitment area, so doing outreach to schools, conducting tours, maybe helping out in the office. So that's probably going to be a mid-year campaign, and we'll send that information through when that happens. There's also, of course, loads of things you can do in the community. So professional associations, you've got your Nutrition Society, I'm sure you'll be hearing about that. There's Health Promotion Australia, Public Health Association. Student membership's usually pretty heavily discounted, so it might be an option for you to look at some stage. There's usually newsletters and social media stuff you can follow as well. Great way to meet people, or just check out if they're doing any events or PD of interest to you. So you've got those options. Following the news, free sign-ups. What's your sector talking about? Are there particular aspects of the sector that you really, really want to follow? So that's just a few examples. Maggie Beer Foundation, Heart Foundation, Kitchen Garden. You can follow health on The Conversation. Nutrition Australia, get updates. So be curious, go beyond. Tips from a past graduate. So some of the things that Dale was doing at the time, therapeutic mentor and wellbeing practitioner, and a nutrition and dietetic assistant with SA Health. But really encourage you volunteering and checking out upcoming events. Connect with people, learn how to share your experiences at interviews. We've got lots of resources on that. Networking at events and career days, reaching out to people. So what's the right fit for you? I think that's really good advice as well. So you need to do that self-reflection, think about your goals, think about your interests, and choose your activities strategically, map it out over time. I guess that's a big theme today. Volunteering might be something that, you know, is really worthwhile in so many ways, certainly in and of itself as that reach out to community and engaging with community. It can be very closely related to your sector. It might be about your passions and interests. Either way, amazing skills will be demonstrated, values and attributes from those experiences. It could be anything from one-off event days through to slightly longer term volunteering. So there's a lot of examples around the sort of community food kind of area. So Red Cross, Meals on Wheels, Oz Harvest, Food Bank, and we've got a special page for you on those options and activities. You can also have a look on Go Volunteer. But think about ways, you know, to put some sparkle into the resume. Be that amazing, interesting, engaged person. So there's anything from Tasting Australia. They haven't announced volunteers yet, and I think you need to sign up to their newsletters to find out about that. But what an amazing thing to do. AusAsia Festival, and there's a lot of food and culture, of course, that's a part of that. There's a multicultural festival coming up. It's great, we're hopefully emerging from COVID and we've got all of these amazing things. WOMADelaide. So yeah, Tasting Australia, find out about volunteering through that newsletter, if that's an interest to you. Coast Trek with the Heart Foundation, looking for people to run the Love Stop, cheering people, doing food and drinks, etc., etc. So if you can fit in a one-off, there's something for you there. Starlight Foundation are looking for table hosts for a fundraiser in May. I think I've included that in the bundle. Farmers Market, can you spare a Sunday once a month? There's a Kit Market Kitchen Kids Club, info stand, meet and greet. Again, is that an interest, or are there other areas that you might want to pursue? These are just ideas and examples. There's your food bank, looking for warehouse volunteers. We've certainly had students drive the truck and van, or there's Food Hub volunteering. And Oz Harvest, another one. And they all, you know, there are paid positions that can come up with those organisations. So any experience you have, make the absolute most of it, meet as many people as possible, share your story, be interested in their stories, explore how you might get started. Some of the things that can come up, there's internship programs, so that's Aurora, that one, Indigenous, non-Indigenous applicants, including health and community placements. So again, just showing you some of the things that you might want to look out for. CSIRO, health and biosecurity. So there's studentships, vacation studentships you can do there. Unpaid Commonwealth parliamentary internships, but there are some travel grants and supports like that. So public health, you might want to go to that bigger lens of public health and policy. Virtual internships. So you can see Prime Minister and Cabinet, they're going to be at the big meet late March as well. So you might be interested in healthcare policy. So these are just, like I say, virtual. There could be 2 hours up to 6 hours. Also get Horizon points there. So healthy food options for a canteen, work health and safety, leadership in healthcare settings. Always you can extend yourself. Is anyone on LinkedIn? Yeah, you are? Great. And you are? Fantastic. Encourage you to get on there, never too early. You can follow jobs, you can follow organisations, you can make connections with past graduates. There's certainly a few who are on LinkedIn. You can go and have a look at their profiles and see, well, what's their career story? How have their careers evolved? What might I do? So a great one there as well. A few ideas about where people from health, nutrition kind of studies have gone, and this is really from LinkedIn. You can read more in your career packs that you can download. So yeah, Oz Harvest, Nutrition Programs Officer. One's progressed to doing a PhD, but was working as a nutritionist, researcher, public health research. In mental health, Deadly Thinking Program Manager, sales and business development, so some pretty broad things. Some have gone into teacher training. We also see food security consultant, health promotion coordinator, social supermarket project coordinator, social media coordinator, wellness assistants, medical rep roles. Pretty broad. Starts to give you an idea though about some of the jobs and keywords to use when you're looking on those job boards. Okay, so just popping that one out there. So careers education, you just had a flavour of it. We run career planning workshops, resumes, cover letters, you name it, anything you need for career management, we run it. You get a point for coming along for those HACS workshops. Some are online, some are in person. Employer events. So like I mentioned, there's the big meet coming up. A lot of health employers will be there. Take a wide lens on possibilities. Why not come along and have a chat? Got a question, you can ask us on Career Hub. Okay, great place to start. If there's a question that you have, you need help finding anything, you can reach out to us via that platform. So that's pretty much covering what I was going to talk about, but it is knowing where you're at right now, looking at how you're going to develop that sector awareness, start to engage. It might be as simple as signing up to some news, joining some of those clubs, societies, looking into the professional associations. Then it might be, oh, can I fit in a little bit of maybe some of those event volunteering things? Then it might evolve to a longer term involvement somewhere. But just think about how you're developing that story each and every semester. Try out different things, see what works for you. If you want to talk about it, if you want to talk about your profile, your brand and how you want to develop it, you can tap into us. We do have some short one-to-one consults. So just find all of that on Career Hub. Any questions? Well, watch out because Olivia's going to put up an absolute ton of jobs I have packaged together. So again, pick and choose, take your time and wish you all the very, very best. Have a fantastic time here. You're in the absolute best of hands and what an exciting area to be involved with. So I do wish you all the very best.
Thanks very much, Meg.
Thanks for having us.
And Meg sends me those jobs quite regularly, so just keep a lookout. I do tend to try and badge them as for retention of nutrition students. You're obviously welcome to look at the ones that come for dietetics as well, but these were the ones that we
Mostly I
curate.
screen them
Yeah,
to send through to you. That would be right on
We've
there.
got a couple of people that are interested in maybe moving to dietetics.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know, if you want to sort of keep an eye out, I'm kind of hoping though that maybe some of you might be inspired to stay in the nutrition stream at least until the end of the third year, maybe start working as nutritionists and then consider the masters afterwards if you want to. But yeah, it's obviously up to you. We work so closely together anyway. So yeah, whatever you decide to do is the right decision for you. Thanks, Meg. Well, we're almost done. I've just, sorry, I was just panicking a little bit that there was a teaching session about to start in here, but no, I think someone stuffed up with the room bookings. Okay, they've moved. That was what the kerfuffle was about. Apologies.
Don't worry.
We're
Didn't
fine.
even
We'll
notice.
stay.
Do you want me to log out?
Yes, please. We've just got a couple more slides. I can realise this is like a long morning for you, and apologies. We tried to condense it down as much as possible. I think what the plan is moving forward, as well as Jane's hoping to organise like maybe a early semester 2 kind of catch up with everyone once you're all in the swing of things, just to do like a proper meet and greet, but more of a social, probably up the hill with some catering, just so that if you haven't had a chance to connect with your nutrition peers, there will be an opportunity. And we often invite the dietetic student first years as well, so it's another opportunity to sort of mingle with people in the same topics as you, because it's only really when we get to third year that we tend to sort of separate off into our separate streams. So you will spend a lot of time with the dietetic students in the next couple of years. So I think all I wanted to finish on really, and thanks again, Meg, because that was probably a really good segue into this, was just a little bit about professional associations. So I don't have a lot about the public health ones today, but they're certainly great ones to link in with if you have an interest in that public health space. The Nutrition Society of Australia, or NSA, is a national nutrition body representing nutritionists. So you've got Dietitians Australia for the dietitians and NSA for nutritionists. NSA is an amazing group to get involved with in that they're quite diverse. You'll find that the Dietitians Association is very female heavy and very clinical dietetics focused, whereas the NSA tends to be very broad: food, health, nutrition, food science. They have a lot of representation from CSIRO and SAHMRI and those research bodies, much more diverse, so they're not they're coming, you know, with different backgrounds, so animal nutrition, plant-based nutrition. You hear about a lot of the really exciting work that's happening. So, for example, there was recent work happening in, although it's still ongoing, but there was a seminar on concentrated powders. So I don't know if you heard on the way in on the radio this morning, they're talking about all the insect proteins a lot. They're sort of promoting some stalls that are happening through as part of Fringe. So there are seminars on insects as protein options, but also the fact that there are researchers looking at using waste vegetable products that don't go to sale, so leaves and stems and things like that, and actually being able to concentrate them into super concentrate vitamin powders that are super nourishing, that can be added to like coffees or food products, and they're really touting that as probably one of the future food options for us as we start being more conscious of waste. So that's just an example of, you know, the diversity that NSA tends to bring. So as you can see, agricultural scientists. So it's quite cheap to join them, and they do. We have state-based chapters. So I used to co-convene the SA chapter. They've just voted in a new committee, and they'll be organising seminars, and they have an annual dinner in July, which is usually quite heavily subsidised, and there's usually a 2-course meal with speakers and an opportunity to meet like-minded people and potentially employers down the line. They also have local meetings, and then and often do some free seminars that you don't even have to be a member to go to. So they're good people to link in with, and they do have social media that you can link in with as well. So that's NSA. In terms of moving forward, so we've talked a lot about your career now, your study plan now, and I guess the segue there is Meg talking about sort of everything you're doing now leading to where you think you might want to be at the end, and keeping your options as broad as possible if you're not quite sure. We've talked, obviously, some of you are interested in the dietetics program, and that's fantastic. So come next year, you'll be asked to choose some electives, and at that point you'll need to decide whether you're going to do those extra science electives that will make you eligible for dietetics, but also the Masters of Teaching secondary school, or whether you're going to go in a broader direction, or ageing, digital health, maybe even some exercise electives. Overall, the program will make you eligible to a number of other degrees, which don't necessarily require the extra science. So public health, graduate medical program. We're also positioning you quite well to go into a research pathway, or there's also the Bachelor of Letters in Innovation. So there's a few options for you. And some people even sort of take big deviations and maybe head more towards like speech pathology, for example. So there's always options, I think, is the important thing to remember, as well as obviously working in the nutrition field. I did have some alumni stories for you, so I'll just play these, and then we're just working towards meeting with your mentors, and then that's the close for today. So we're almost there, just hang in there. I'll let someone else do the talking.
And from a health perspective, if you look at most of the healthiest populations around the world, food is a really important part of their life, and it's a really central thing that everything else in life is built around. Whether you want to work in traditional nutrition in terms of clinical spaces, within hospitals or aged care facilities, basically helping to improve the quality of life for sick or unwell people, there are now many opportunities as well in the space of that preventative, proactive nutrition, with so many people keen to learn about the relationship between food and nutrition. The opportunities are endless. And of course, we employ a number of dietitians and individuals with nutrition qualifications who work in some really fun and interesting areas, from one-on-one consulting through to school works and programs, some of our online programs, and even our cooking demonstrators, and a range of other kind of community-based projects. I love that I get to come to work every day and work with a bunch of people that are just as like-minded as myself, who love food, who love nutrition, who understand the interaction that and the importance that food has on our health. And I love the fact that I get to combine my passions of food and nutrition and people into one amazing job. As a food, nutrition and education business, we accommodate Flinders students directly with observations, with placements, and more hands-on activities such as cooking demonstrations and hands-on cooking classes. If you love food and you're interested in health and you want to inspire people to live happy and healthy lives and you want to connect with others, then nutrition is the degree for you.
So that's, as I said, Themis and Callum that are down at Sprout. We've actually got 4 students on placement with them at the moment, and this semester we'll have second years going down to do their cooking pracs there, and those students are helping Callum and Themis develop an education package, I think, for schools, and also 2 students that are working with them to develop some food science videos for us to use in the curriculum here. So quite broad opportunities with them. And then this is one of our alumni, Stacey, just talking about what she's done since qualifying. going to work. Where's her?
My name's Stacey and I work as a nutritionist at an integrative health clinic. The best part about my job is that it's really diverse. I might be speaking to someone earlier in the day on how to eat more healthily and developing them a meal plan and creating recipes. Later in the day, I will be creating some social media content and then putting together workshops on topics such as how to feed your fussy toddler. Already, my nutrition degree has taken me down a couple of different paths. I started out in the disability sector, helping individuals build their capacity to shop for healthy foods and prepare healthy meals. I then worked for a recruitment company where I helped large corporate organisations bring their health and wellbeing programs online during COVID lockdowns, and then I eventually ended up in private practice. I chose to study nutrition because I wanted to play my part in improving the health of the Australian population, and it's a really exciting field because there's always new evidence emerging and there's always something new to learn.
So short, sharp and shiny, but hopefully that gives you an illustration, and actually she's probably the perfect person to show you how diverse the role for nutrition can be. Doesn't always mean you have nutritionist in your job title, but those skill sets are very transferable. And I guess in some ways we're sort of the English degree of dietetics, because a nutrition degree gives you so many transferable skills that you can use in a lot of different ways and opportunities.
My name's Stacey and I work as a nutritionist.
There we go. And I've just included this because I've actually just been part of a study with 7 other universities around Australia and the course coordinators for the human nutrition programs there. And what we've done is we sent out a survey to graduates of nutrition degrees around the country. We've had a couple of hundred responses, and we've really wanted to understand where they've gone to work afterwards. And this is a word cloud of where they've gone. So you can see it's super varied. So as you might expect, there's the bigger the words means the more frequency that they've come up in the results. So lots of people going into research, health roles, nutritionist, teaching, public health roles, but also things like regulatory roles. So that's working with developing food policy or food standards. You can see disability up there, much like Stacey and where she's gone. Lots of education-related roles and well-being, some working with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander populations, some doing more analyst and industry and lab roles or technician roles, and also some academic and media roles there. So super diverse. So I think if you know that you like nutrition but you're not sure where you want to end up, the nice thing is this can take you in a lot of directions. I'm also hoping that by the time you get to third year, I'll have negotiated that health coaching topic we have in third year will be the last in a scaffolded sequence of learning that will help get you a micro-credential in health coaching too, so that, again, you're positioned really well in industry once you get out there and start looking for jobs as a qualified nutritionist and health coach. Okay, so that's all the talking I had. Jane was going to try and pop back to do these slides, but I'll do them, and then we're going to go meet your mentors, and then you can escape and enjoy what else is going on. I think most of the action is at main campus, as I was saying, so you might want to head up there and suss it out. This is quite a new initiative that Jane's introduced just around recruiting some sort of third-year students to help mentor first and second years. So she's nominated a few people to mentor big groups of you. The mentors, it's really as little or as much as you want to use them. So they're there for social support, but also for study support. So some of those science topics, I know students are sort of like, oh gosh, you know, they're not what they were thinking they were coming into. So the mentors are there to sort of help you keep the end in sight and help you be able to know that, you know, they are getting you from A to B, because often by the time you get to third year, all of the concepts that you're learning in first and second year suddenly all click into place. So just helping support you through that, helping you with study tips, and helping connect you. And just, yeah, building confidence. They can help you with study and revision. Just be careful that their role is not to give you past examples of papers or assignments. We are really hot on plagiarism here and academic integrity. So you need to, while asking questions is absolutely fine, they shouldn't be giving you past assignments or anything like that, because they will flag. We have very sophisticated plagiarism technology here at Flinders, so every time you submit an assignment, it's stored in this program. So even a student that was here 5 years ago, if they give you their assignment, you take some chunks of it, don't change it, and submit it, it will actually flag to that student's work from 5 years ago. So just a clue on that one. So sure, use them for reference if someone's happy to share something with you, but always make sure you're using your own words and your own interpretation in assignments. They will help you with things like study plans, workload planning, advice on trying to balance jobs. We do all know that you work, but telling us that you can't submit an assignment because you've got to work is not going to go down super well. But you're all adults. It's just about negotiating with us. You know, well, okay, I'm struggling with this date. Can I submit it this couple of days later? And making sure that you've got a nice balance between work and study, and that one's not riding over the other. And also to help you engage with more of those social activities. If you want to become a mentor, then obviously Jane coordinates that, but that tends to be later in your second or third year. And we're going to go meet our mentors in a minute. Just to pick up on something that Meg said, in the next week or so, you're probably going to hear us put a call out for student reps. If you are interested in getting involved, it's a very low intensity role to have that looks amazing as a leadership role on your resume. So student reps, there's either the student ambassadors, which is a paid role, and where you might be working with any course, not just nutrition, on like open days or workshops and that type of thing, and the university will pay you to do that, to be an ambassador of the university. The student rep roles is a course specific thing. So we need student reps to meet with us in first semester and second semester. We've been doing them online. We might go back to in person, but I think online's been working fine. And it's the course coordinators put a call out. We have a rep for each year level of the program and an international rep. And we ask you to send out a little survey or an email your colleagues, and we actually help you because we'll have email contacts for those people as well, just to sort of get a bit of feedback on how they're going and any difficulties they're encountering. And then the student rep brings that to that meeting and reports back on behalf of their year level. So it might be that they've identified that chemistry is really hard going and the turnarounds really quickly for assignments. And the idea of those meetings is it's an opportunity for us to hear the good and the bad, and for course coordinators to be able to action something if necessary. So if there's a strong feeling that something's not working right, that's an opportunity for us course coordinators to hear it and try and address it. Otherwise, it's grumblings that sometimes go unnoticed. And that happens in semester 1 and semester 2. So if you're interested in that role, that will come up shortly. So these are your mentor groups. So I don't know if you want to have a look through and see if you recognise your name. I don't know that this list has been updated since super recently, so it's probably been taken from the online enrolment system. But so if you're a late enrolment, you might not be up there. But just see, so can everyone see their name up there? Yep, cool. So your mentor will either be Sarah that came in earlier, Eva that came in earlier, or we've also got Andrea and Nathaniel. So I think I saw them waiting outside. So I think the other group should be doing this kind of session right now. And then we were going to come together to just do a quick hi with your mentor. So just remember who your mentor is. I think, that's the end. That's all I had to talk about that was scheduled and planned for today. Does anyone have any questions? I know we've covered a lot today. Does anyone even where do I get a coffee? Or how's everyone feeling about that? Everyone feeling confident for week 1 to start? Placement? Yeah, so in human nutrition, there isn't the same sort of placement that the dietetics do in 4th year. So in dietetics, 4th year is pretty much all placement for them because that's their acute sort of competency building demonstration of. But we have independent studies, that topic that happens in 3rd year that I mentioned, where you can go overseas. It's project-based, so it's a bit more relaxed than placement. So BNDs do like a 9 to 5, 100 hours of 100 days of placement, and they have to do it in certain settings. For us, it's more project based. So depending on what you're interested in, there's an opportunity to also help navigate your own project if there's a specific area that you're interested in, and we have a lot of connections with different organisations that we can send you to. There's also potentially going to be a placement opportunity in the health coaching topic. So that's one I'm putting together at the moment. I'm hoping that there will be opportunity to dip in and out of maybe our offerings with Health to Go in some of the interprofessional placements. But at the moment, that's the placement sort of expectations. Yeah. Yep. For the loop. I think the bus comes, is it every half an hour? I'm not sure what the schedule is. So I guess it just sits with where you're sitting on your schedule. I would, on a hot day like this, I'd probably wait for the bus because it's air conditioned. And if I'm not in a mad rush, the walk is meant to be lovely because it is through the woods and like a nice bridge, but it is uphill, downhill obviously on the way back. So a good way of getting your steps up, and if you're wearing sneakers, then it's probably quite a comfortable walk. I think it's a comfortable 15-minute walk. I think you could do it in less if you were brisk walking. So yeah, if you're in a rush and you can't wait for a bus, then yeah, the walk is quite nice. You'll probably learn quite quickly as well, like where you need to be in person and where you can just do it online. So it might be that you have an in-person lab up the hill and then the next session has an online option. You might just go sit in the library or a quiet space and just dial in online and participate that way. And if you're watching your steps or if it's raining, there is quite a lot of car parking down here. So if you're driving in, you know, there is the option of just moving your car down as well. So the car parks tend to get quite quiet after about week 3 or 4, once everyone's realised what they do and don't have to turn up to, everything starts getting a bit quieter. So yeah, there's a few options there, but yeah, it depends how fast you are walking and how much stuff you're carrying as well. So yeah. Any other questions? Yep.
I was just wondering if there was any subjects you could do like over the summer.
Yeah, non-semester subjects. Okay, let me go back to the study plan. The short answer is yes, and sometimes it just depends on which topics and some, because there is some of the electives for sure. Where did I have my study plan there? So in first year, I don't think there's any non-semester offerings of those. What you're basically looking at is when you go into register, if it says NS, that means non-semester. And that generally means that they're taught during the holidays or just slightly staggered within the semesters, like might start a little bit early but finish a bit early, that kind of thing. I think what you'll find with those is that there's more online and in-person offerings. Year 2, your electives. So I think, again, most of those are full semester topics, but the ageing elective 2003 is a non-semester, and that is a October to December offering. So it starts mid-semester 2 and finishes just before Christmas, and it's only a 9-week online topic. There used to be a chemistry summer school, but I think with the changes to those offerings, they've not got that anymore. For independent studies, the mobility program that oversees opportunity is usually during the mid-break, and then there'll be a little bit of report writing and things like that you would do outside of that as well. And I'm just trying to think of the electives in third year. All of the ageing minor electives, apart from interpersonal and interprofessional communication, are non-semester offerings. So they would have a non-semester either the beginning of the year or the end of the year. I think all of the other ones from memory are normal semester offerings. Yeah. And I think if you end up pursuing any of the comms or business electives, they might have a non-semester offering, but I don't think they're intensive. summer school type ones. Yeah, sorry, we're a little bit restricted in that way. Any other questions? Those are good ones. Stretch my brain then. All right, well, I think if we go loiter outside and give you a chance to stretch your legs, the mentors will hopefully be coming out from the bachelor presentation. So I think you and the first year dietetic students will all have similar mentors. I think Jane's deliberately mixed you up as well so that you get the opportunity to mix with some of the dietetic students. And for those of you that are thinking about moving across, it's probably a good opportunity to get to know them and pick brains and sort of compare notes. And the nice thing is you don't have to make that decision for at least another year, for some of you another 3 years, so depending on which pathway you're going to try and go through. We don't have sideways movement anymore, so you might hear some students talk about lateral transfer into dietetics. So we used to have an opportunity at the end of second year to apply to move into third year of dietetics, and it was a competitive entry situation. But the places were always limited to how many of the dietetics students had dropped out or had to pause their studies. So it was never a lot of places. We don't offer that anymore because we've made the nutrition program more individual to nutritionists, rather than trying to keep it like a sort of mock dietetics degree, which is unfortunately what we had to do to allow the sideways movement. Now we've been able to drop a couple of science, so we've dropped the biochem in third year and we've dropped a physiology topic in second year, because as nutrition scientists you don't need that extra level of science, you only need to do the 4 topics unless you want to pursue dietetics, and then you've got to pick up the extra 2 as electives. But it just gives students that option that if they don't want to do such a science heavy degree, they can now just do the basic 4 and pursue other interests through their degree. Okay. All right, let's stretch our legs and let's go see